everything that could have been said about you as a person, as an individual, as a writer, as an author has already been said. So I will talk in the only terms that I think I should be talking about, which is as a psychiatrist. We have known each other for a long time, and then in 2021 that stroke happened, which felled you, which has felled a lot of people, but there is only a very, very small minority that rises like the proverbial phoenix from the ashes to stride like a colossus that you have become now. What you have achieved is nothing short of phenomenal, and I want to tell you how you have achieved it. As a doctor, as a psychiatrist, going into your brain to understand what was happening at that time, how you turned things around to become what you become today, as you continue on this phenomenal journey of self-actualization. You spoke about that 7% statistic. I've been following Sharon Stone's case for a long time now. I've been following you for a long time now. What is it that sets apart people like Pramod and Sharon from the other 93, 94, 95% people who either don't make it at all or they reach only a small fraction of what you have achieved? Essentially, when a stroke happens, it's a disorder inside the brain where there are a lot of, so let's say there was some blood clot went in, something happened, or there was a bleed, and there is a lot of outage of electricity or electrical connections inside the brain. It's almost as if there are short circuits happening and different substations in the brain, they start to shut down, which leads to a lot of problems. It leads to a lot of physical problems. I see more of the psychological and the psychiatric problems in terms of depression, in terms of anxiety, in terms of problem with your self-esteem, with your self-concept, with your self-confidence, with your self-image. People start, which is understandable, you start to feel hopeless, you start feeling that you are never going to get better. You start feeling worthless because you compare yourself with what you were earlier and you compare yourself with, quote unquote, the seemingly normal people around you, and then you start feeling completely helpless. तो हताश होना एकदम स्वाभाविक है सिचुएशन में, which is what most normal people would, most normal people who have had a stroke would feel. Now obviously you're not normal. That does not mean that you're abnormal. It just means, like Prerit said, he took 2 words away from me. I don't like you. So 2 words which I would have liked to use. So you are not normal, you are super normal. What you have achieved is nothing short of phenomenal. You've actually set up your own electricity substations inside the brain, which are now fueling you in your journey towards self-actualization. And the second thing that he said, which I think everyone has also echoed, is that you are a true role model. For ordinary people like me, for ordinary mortals who are sitting here, you are the true role model who we can look up to. So what is it that sets you apart from the rest of us? There is a word in English which is called resilience. Resilience is basically, in English it means the ability to bounce back. But for a psychiatrist or for a person or a scientist who studies the human brain, the most defining feature of any human being, the most defining feature of any human brain is this quality called resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back. All of us have faced trauma, all of us have faced stresses, all of us have faced conflicts in life. Usually what happens is that the greater the trauma, the greater the impact of the trauma, the more the resilience is overcome and the more that person crumbles underneath the impact of the trauma. In your case, the exact opposite has happened. The impact was huge, the trauma was huge, but because of something different about you and your brain, you started viewing that as a challenge, a lot of your different brain lobes, different areas of the brain they kicked in, they did not take it as an overwhelming event in your life. All those areas got together, they said we have to overcome whatever has happened. A lot of new brain tracts were formed, a lot of new brain channels were formed, a lot of new neurological connections were formed because of your single-minded determination to get not only better, but to self-actualize. 7% people with this kind of stroke recover. I think the true figure is probably closer to 5%, but not more than 1% in this, 1% people in this world, they self-actualize. Self-actualization, there was a psychologist, his name was Maslow. A lot of you who civil services and all, you would have read about Maslow and his pyramid of human needs. There was a hierarchy right at the top of the pyramid. So the basic needs are, essentially self-preservation, need for food, clothing, shelter, sex, attention, affection, blah, blah, blah. But at the top of the pyramid is the need for self-actualization, to reach your true potential in this lifetime. Most people are still struggling at the lower levels of that pyramid of human needs. You are already near there. Of course, you announced your intent and your desire and your motivation to write more and more. I'm sure you are very close, and as you keep writing more and more, there are new facets to yourself that you're going to start discovering. As Sangeeta was saying, some people have a dormant painter inside, some have a dormant musician. You never knew that you could be as good a writer today had you not taken that stroke as a challenge which had to be overcome, or as a monster that had to be killed. You've done that brilliantly. There are some residual physical problems and all, which is not really impeding you too much. You would like to overcome all of those. The path that you're following is the exact path that needs to be followed. Brain-wise, intelligence-wise, cognitively, I would say that you are way, way better than what I would even dream of being if I had been in a situation. So finally, if I could draw up a sliding scale of resilience, on a scale of 0 to 100, if I was your professor, I would give you 120. Hats off to you.